Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this edition of the program Jones and Company. On this program, we examine national issues. Food security is extremely important in the Bahamas, and many Bahamians know the name BAMSI by now. And the government of the Bahamas has been doing a whole lot to educate people on the need for food security for the Bahamas. And indeed, BAMSI is up and running, it's operational. And we have students who are in North Andros, and they are listening to the many professors who are visiting BAMSI. And on our program today, we are going to be talking about food production and food security. Our guests on the program today, Dr. Isaac Bekele, who is Dean of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture at St. Augustine in Trinidad. And he's accompanied by Dr. E. Monica Davis, who is the Honorary Consul for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in Trinidad and Tobago. And she is also a lecturer in the Faculty of Medical Sciences at UE in Trinidad. Welcome to the program. It's nice to have you both here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Davis, this is your second time on Jones and Company.
It is indeed.
So we give you another welcome. And Godfrey Ines, it's nice to have you here today.
It was just you and I last week.
Yes, and you did extremely well explaining your two columns.
Thank you.
That you wrote in the Bahama Journal. They were well received. I've been getting telephone calls all week on the wonderful work that you have done, Mr. Ines.
You should tell our viewers you'll give me another assignment.
Yes, you have another assignment, but no problem. We'll get to that in due course. Dr. Bekele, how long have you been the Dean of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture?
Since August 2013.
August 2013?
Not very long.
Okay. But you've been in agriculture for a long time as a...
A very long time.
Yes?
Yes. Well,
at UE?
I've been in UE Faculty of Agriculture since 1982.
Since 1982?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you still have dark hair and young.
You still had hair?
At that time, he was probably growing up.
Okay. I understand my friend, Mr. Ines, went to St. Augustine at Trinidad as well.
Yes, I came to know that because I read in his book about his education. So he was one of the last graduates of ICTA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the record
Good.
he holds.
How big is your school of food and agriculture?
The Faculty of Food and Agriculture is a kind of a newly reconstituted faculty. The faculty has 3 departments. There are a total of 1,200 undergraduate students and over 215 postgraduate students in the faculty.
Mm-hmm.
We have disciplines in the faculty of geography, agriculture, traditional agriculture, basically agricultural science, agribusiness management, human ecology programs, and environment and natural resource program, and landscape, tropical landscaping.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dr. Davis, you are with the university as well as you attending the business of the Bahamas and Trinidad. So you get you see many Bahamians there?
We have quite a few Bahamians there, yes.
Okay.
We do.
At your school?
Yes, the majority of the students actually are in the medical sciences faculty, but we do have some other students in other faculties.
Good.
Yeah.
You heard about BAMSI?
I did indeed.
Okay. What do you
I
think
heard
about
from the
the
source.
overall concept?
It's brilliant. Brilliant. I was totally excited when I was told about it by the author. And I see it as a uniting factor for the Caribbean, highlighting the capabilities of the Bahamas and the sustainability effect and the alleviation of poverty and hunger.
Is there a role for UWI in BAMSI, in the BAMSI project?
Well,
Yes.
I think, well...
That's a long pause.
Yes, it has to be a long pause because I'm just trying to get it right. There is a role as the only faculty of agriculture. The UE St. Augustine has a role to play with respect to human resource development throughout the region. It's not really a role that we can play on our own, but when countries are establishing new schools, new institutions, training institutions or research institutions, if they really need some collaboration in that aspect, then I think UE has a responsibility to respond to those needs.
Mm-hmm.
UE has been playing a key role in a sense that many Caribbean countries have agricultural training programs. But these training programs are terminal at the diploma level. And when those graduates want to move to a degree level, they come to UE. And therefore, we knew that Bahamas is trying to establish an agricultural training program. And we thought that maybe we should start having discussions with them so that the articulation to UE can be put at the appropriate level at this stage of development. Secondly, if they needed any help in the curriculum development, any role for us, if they have a role for us, then we would like to respond to that demand by the Bahamians.
Dr. Bekele, Mr. Jones opened by speaking about food security. How do you see the Institute being part of not only the food security infrastructure of the Bahamas, but of the region?
When we plan to come here, me and Dr. Davis have been talking about UE's role, but I was not really aware of the whole concept of BAMSI, what it is and what it intends to do in the larger context of human resource development for the agricultural sector in Bahamas and beyond, if possible. Mm-hmm. And then BAMSI's planned role to contribute to the food security situation of the Bahamas and beyond, if possible. I didn't know much details. The first 2 days we were here, we basically learned a lot about what this institution is in terms of the mandates of the institution, training-wise, research-wise, extension and outreach support-wise, and at the same time, the development side, the development of the agricultural sector. At two levels. One, of course, is its mandate is to play a role by directly getting involved in the agribusiness sector, production level, both livestock and animal production. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect, of course, is assisting people to be entrepreneurs in agriculture.
Yes. What do you think about the overall concept of BAMSI? Because I don't know how many BAMSIs that you would have in the Caribbean, institutes like that. But what do you think about that?
Well, okay, let's get there. So the mandates are diverse,
yes,
interrelated but diverse. And I don't think there is an institution that I know which includes all these mandates under one umbrella. That is, to me, a very unique approach. It is a unique approach that from the onset seems to address all sorts of issues from a single point. in the sense that we are small countries. We don't have capacities concentrated in one area. We may have capacities distributed, and when you have distributed capacities, it's really difficult to bear all those capacities in the development agenda for agriculture. And but BAMZ does, and if it's continues to proceed in the direction that it does, what BAMZ does, I don't like that word.
You don't like BAMZ?
The institute does, yeah.
Okay, why don't you
What
like
the
BAMZ?
institute does is it brings resources together, which could be utilized for training, research, participate in support of the agricultural enterprises. Their knowledge will also be applied there. Provide outreach from multiplicity of angles. So it is a unique but a very interesting model for development.
Okay. There was a time when most of the countries in the Caribbean focused on agriculture, and we are told that a whole lot of them are now turning to tourism and other things, and the agricultural plants are in decline in some of these countries in the region. That is right. Are we right? Okay. What is the role of the University of the West Indies, for instance, and your faculty in improving the output in Caribbean countries?
The University of West Indies mandate from CARICOM point of view is training, basically. We are responsible for training at the undergraduate level, postgraduate level, so that the region will have the necessary manpower for the agriculture sector, food and agriculture sector. Beyond that, we really don't have a direct mandate. That's because we have to be very clear. We are funded to train. We are not funded to do anything else. But the university trains. It trains also at the postgraduate level, and it uses the postgraduate training to also undertake research. All right? Research in areas critical to the development of the Caribbean agriculture. So that is UWI's role. There are structural issues throughout the region and country-wise where research outputs, be it from the region or be externally, there is no mechanism to take the research output and take it to the farmers. Even if you take it to the farmers, the ability to utilize that into their own farming systems and agricultural decisions are limited.
So you have no role in encouraging food production in the region?
No,
you say you're training people. Your
no, that is our mandate.
But do you have a mandate to encourage the production of food in the region? We talked about food security earlier.
That is the standard. That's as a regional institutions, we are interested, and we do whatever we can to promote focus on food security issues and security matters.
Yeah, Dr. Davis, you want to
I was just
respond to
thinking
that?
part of the overall mandate of the University of the West Indies as a whole is to unlock the potential of the Caribbean people. And I think by training, and training doesn't only mean, to me, academic training. It means training for the real world, the world of work, and training for the needs that we see emergent in the region. The point you made about declining interest in agriculture is well known. In fact, since I have been living in Trinidad, there have been a number of, the Carney Institution used to produce rum and so on, sugar cane and all of this. Those are totally in decline. That also seemed to predate the decline in enrollment in the faculty of what was then the faculty of agriculture, which caused for the faculty of agriculture to take a second role, and it was merged with science and called faculty of science and agriculture, because science by far took up the majority of the enrollment, but they still wanted to keep agriculture because of ICTA and the historical stuff and so on. But agriculture only had a small role. Because now of the issues that have emerged in terms of food security and sustainability, and realizing that a lot of the things that people embark on originally are fickle, they're trying to get people to return to the land. But as we have had many discussions about the stigma attached to agriculture, that needs to be removed at all costs, because there should be no stigma associated to feeding ourselves.
Are people interested in returning to the land in the Caribbean? Do you see a heightened interest in the region?
We saw it in Andros.
No, I'm talking about
For sure.
Caribbean-wide.
I think there is a movement to go to agriculture, but you see, it's not Caribbean-wide issue. If you go to Suriname, people are into agriculture. If you go to Guyana, Guyana lives on agriculture. The contribution of agriculture to its GDP is highly significant, and the basis for Guyana's continued growth in economy is agriculture. So it's not a Caribbean-wide phenomenon. But historically, we have always been like that. This is really the issue. While the large estate plantations grew, the food production aspect has always been limited to producing food just to feed the society. It has never been beyond that. So when the plantation economies disappeared, our role and treatment of the food sector didn't change very much. It just remained there. That is really the challenge. The challenge now is to really make people aware that subsistent agriculture, nearly subsistent agriculture, has to change if we are really going to develop a system of food that is secure, so will secure our present and future. That's
Access to capital is extremely important in this regard, sir. And there are a whole lot of people who argue that the Caribbean is not fared well in agriculture because farmers have not had access to capital.
I think now that one of the things that governments are leaning to, why they're moving some places more towards agriculture, the huge rise in the food import bill. So people are realizing, as a country, in order for various countries to survive, their food import bills need to go down. So I think that is always a constant thrust to empower, to encourage people to get back into agriculture. And I think a lot of the time they actually are, just like with the old train line in Trinidad and Tobago, they're sorry that they ripped up the train line because they realize now they need mass transit. And now it's millions of dollars more expensive to create. So they realize that they did throw away the baby with the bathwater, and now they have to fill everything up again.
Okay.
Yes, capital to the extent that it finances the technology. That's the key. It's really the technology that the farmers and the would-be farmers would require. And technology is not cheap, but appropriate technologies are there. Then you will also need the land resources. But those are not the limiting issues. The limiting issues in the Caribbean sense has been the main issue has been really marketing and logistics. That remains the key challenge for the Caribbean agriculture.
Okay, let's pick that point up. Let's take this break here. This is Jones and Company, and Godfrey Innes is here today with two guests from the University of the West Indies, the campus at St. Augustine in Trinidad. We'll come right back.